Would you like to shoot cinematic videos with your phone? How do you make your videos stand out from millions of videos on the internet? In this video, I'll be teaching you how to shoot cinematic videos with any phone, be it low budget, mid-range, or even flagship. Now, the phone I'm with here is Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. You can use any phone on any level to shoot these cinematic videos. We're going to leverage things like camera movement, slow motion, and shallow depth of field. The good thing is, this thing is very easy, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how you're going to do this. It's coming up. Alright, before we start, the first thing you need to do is jump into your camera app and set it up. Some of you, when you want to shoot a video, you just, run to the camera app and then start using it like that. That is wrong. Now I'm in my camera app and I'll go to video first. Here I get to choose my resolutions and frame rate per second. For the purpose of this video, we are shooting at 1080, 30 frames per second. Depending on the resolution that is available to your phone, you have the option of choosing between 1080, 4K, and so on. But I recommend shooting at 1080 most of the time because for now, that is the industry standard and that is the resolution most people on YouTube, Facebook, and co shoot on. That said, we now go into focus. You have to make sure that your subject is always on focus. Sometimes when you are shooting with autofocus, your camera tends to lose focus here and there. You can see that zoom in and zoom out, then it makes the work look unprofessional. For us to get that cinematic movement and feel we want, you need to always control your focus manually. And now I'm on my camera, and to control this focus manually, just touch your focus point here, depending on the focal length you want, and then long press and hold to lock in the focus. Other things you might need to play around with are your exposures and so on. Then some of these videos we will also be shooting them in slow motion. Alright, for our first cinematic movement here, we want to create an opening shot or an establishing shot. And to create this, we are not using a gimbal here, we are holding the phone on our hand. So you need to be firm with it. Your two hands needs to be very close to your chest here so that you can get that stability you want. You don't want to be holding the phone like this and walking. You have to be firm with it. And establishing shot kind of gives you, this reveal of what a scene is. This hand acts as your gimbal right now. Then your body too needs to support the phone. Now, if you are shooting, you walk heel to like this. You know those ninja movies, how they walk. Another important thing you need to know is, for this opening shot, you need a wide angle lens. The wider your lens, the better. If I'm using a closed lens like this, it doesn't make sense because it's too close to the subject. I need a lens that is wide. So even if your phone does not have a wide lens, no problem. You can still make do of the widest one available to you, okay? So for this particular phone, I can go up to 0.5 wide. You can see this is probably too wide, but it's okay. So the goal here is to create a smooth cinematic entrance. Here we go. So another thing you need to look out for is the frame rate per second. The last shot I just did was on 30 frames per second. So for you to get a smooth cinematic movement, you might need to shoot at 120, 240 frames per second and above, depending on the one that is available to your phone. So my phone right here has slow motion available here. And if I toggle slow motion, you see I have the option to shoot at 1080, 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second and above. And if you don't have any of these frames per second available in your phone, I know some phones have 30 frames as the max, especially those low budget phones. Just use that particular one you have in your phone. It's not a problem. At the end of this video, I'll give you a particular trick that will still make it feel like you used 120 FPS or 240 FPS. So the next shot we're going to take now is cinematic close-up shots. We use it when we want to, emphasize on a particular detail or subject. The aim here is to, get a very sharp focus on the subject while blurring the background. So the most use case for these close-up shots, you must have seen them in movies, where two characters or a subject is always kept in focus and the background is blurred. That cinematic feel is what they want to achieve. And to achieve this, I have Ben here as my subject. Okay, so Ben is in front of the camera now, and you can see that he's not well focused. So I'm going to get a desired focal length and then lock my focus there and adjust my exposure. Okay, now the background might not be too blurry because I'm kind of far. Okay, and if I use maybe a wider lens like 2x and go a bit, but you can see the background is getting blurry now, and I will lock my focus, increase the exposure a bit, then start recording. You can see how the background is blurred. The next shot on our list is the push-in and pull-out shots. Now, this shot is used to create emphasis on a particular subject. Most of the time, it is used to achieve this slow cinematic motion, you know, bringing a subject closer to the camera and into focus. What do I mean? Take a look at this leaf here. You can see a red material here. That is the subject I want to actually capture. But I don't want to focus right away from this distance. What I will do is to get a cinematic push-in, you know, I'll have to go close to the subject and then get my focus of the subject here and then come far to the distance. Observe my body posture. Instead of me to walk, I'm actually doing this in order to cushion the shake here. Okay, so I'll reduce the exposure. Okay, so you can see that some of the subjects are not in focus from this distance, especially the red material, like I said here. This one here, when I start pushing in, you can see the subject coming into focus. You see the subject is now clearly in focus. Okay, on the same hand, if I want to push out now, the subject goes out of focus. When you want to achieve a pull-out, you can equally do the opposite of what I just did. That is, you lock the subject at this particular distance. This is where your focal length is. This is where you want to get the subject in focus. So I'll go in here. You can see the subject is out of focus here. And then pull out. The subject is now in focus. This is what I wanted to achieve. So this next shot I want to show you is one of my favorites. In fact, you hardly see a Hollywood movie where they don't use this particular cinematic shot. All right, so what you need is a subject in your front and another subject at your back. What we call foreground and background. Now, we call this the reveal shot. The idea is you have a subject in the foreground and then another subject in the background, where the subject in the background is what you want to actually capture, but the one in the foreground is, you know, blurred out. That means the one at the back is in focus. To put this in practice, you jump into your camera like before. So on this shot now, you can see the tree is at the foreground, while those tanks there are at the background. I actually want to capture the tanks there. Okay, so what I will do is come close to the tree here. I will first of all get the background subject in focus, you know, lock my focus in here. Then adjust the exposure to your desired level. I'll come to the foreground. You can see this subject here is not in focus. Now, when I reveal this, this is what it looks like. Once I pan like this, the subject at the background will come in focus. All right, so for this particular shot, the light flicker, you just look for a tree and put it at the foreground while the sun is at the background. The idea is to, you know, allow rays of light hit the tree as you pan. You can see as I'm panning on this particular subject here. The sun is kind of deflecting and reflecting around it. So that is light flicker. Now that we have seen these cinematic shots, let's see what the result looks like. Alright, if you're still watching at this point, do well to click that subscribe button and please leave a like, as your likes help push this video further. Remember the trick I told you I'm going to show you at the end of this video? Thanks for waiting. Now, assuming you have a phone that shoots not more than 30 frames per second and you still want to achieve that cinematic slow motion movement that we've been having, you can still do it. Here's the trick. If this is my phone and I want to achieve that same movement, all I need to do is be as stiff as possible. Like, stiffness is key here. Some flagship phones already come with high, stability. They use certain softwares to stabilize the motion, so it's very easier to achieve the cinematic feel. Then adding higher frame rate per second, like 120, 240 and above, makes it closer to your mirrorless cameras and DSLR cameras. But for those phones that their resolutions are capped at 1080 and frame rates are capped at 30 FPS or even 60, what you need to do is be as stable as possible. Like I said, these two hands are your key. Your posture is the key here. Don't be free. When you are casual with your hands, it makes the video shaky. And then your feet is another thing. The idea is that your body is the gimbal here. So the more you stabilize your body, the more it tends to cushion the shakiness of the phone. Remember, creativity is your limit here. Be more creative with your shots and just try anything that comes into your mind. Most importantly, if you are shooting with your phone and your phone is not giving you the stability you want, don't forget that we still have in-editor stabilizers. Most of the video editors we have today, even for smartphones, come with stabilizers. So you can always try those ones as well to give you that final, cinematic motion you want. Okay everyone, there you have it. How to shoot cinematic videos with any phone. You can see these steps were very easy. I mean, you can achieve this with that phone on your hand, no matter how little or how big it is. Okay? And if you found this video informative, please subscribe to our channel. Click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get updated whenever we upload videos like this. Most importantly, guys, please leave a like this video as it helps the algorithm to push the video to other viewers. Thanks for watching.